This video covers the Prospects tab of the Mentoring for Free back office. If you notice, there are a number of options under the Prospect tab drop down, and there's two of them that have shortcuts off of the main page, and those are the Search Prospects and the Tell a Friend. So if you look at your page, those are found here, the Prospect List and the Tell a Friend. So these two have the exact same location or endpoint as the Search Prospects and Tell a Friend of the drop-down menu. So you can use these for quick access. If you go to Search Prospects, you come to this page. Probably the most common task off of this Search Prospects is to list all of your prospects. And the way that you do that is by not adding anything into the search criteria. So you can just click List Prospects and a list shows up. Now what I'm doing in this video is blurring out the contact information to preserve the contact's privacy. So let me cover the fields that come up when you list your prospects, whether or not you do a search and filter that down or list all of your prospects. Of course, the full name, the date that the prospect enrolled in the system, the source, so a direct enrollment or a Tell a Friend, the campaign that the person came in through. Now, by default, if you don't set up any of those, you won't get these little icons, the blue icon with the exclamation mark. But if you set up in the stats section and add campaign, which I'll show in another video, and they click through on that link, it'll show up as the source from which they enrolled. If you click on the little email icon, it'll launch your default email client, and if you just hover over the icon, it'll show their email address. Also lists the phone number, the landing or doorway page that they came in through, and any notes about the prospect. You can click on this and it'll open up the notes, and you can also add new notes and any actions that the prospect has taken, for example opening an email or downloading an ebook. So let's go to search. There's a number of ways you can search: first name, last name, email, status, so for example new enrollees, people who opted out, etc. You can also search by the join month and day, and also by the year. You can filter by the source, so again, direct enrollees, Tell a Friend, etc. And you can also sort if you have set up ad campaigns, which we'll cover in another video how to do that. But if you've set those up, you can search to see who've come in through various campaigns. And you can change the sort order by join date or last name and list the number of contacts per page. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to search for all of the prospects with the name Emily, and I find that I have one, which happens to be my daughter, and I just signed her up for the purposes of this screencast. So you can see I can hover over and click on that, and it shows Emily's information. Now, it only gives you what the prospect has given in the capture page. You can edit this information. So a lot of times you'll find, for example, sometimes people when they enter the information, they do two caps, or by accident, instead of hitting enter, do a little slash at the end or add that. So what I do, if I see anything that doesn't look quite right, I'll change that. So anytime I broadcast an email to them and it uses their first name, that'll look correct. You can, if you learn the prospect's phone number later through an email, you can add that address, city, state, and country, and you can save that. So let's do. So you can see it's added the phone number. If there's any actions, for example, a ebook download, etc., they'll show up under here. You can also add appointments. If you use the Mentoring for Free Pro Office as your calendar, you can say, let's add an appointment, and we'll add it for tomorrow and set it for 6:07 p.m. And typically what you want to do is set your own time zone. Enter the details, and you can send yourself an alert 5 minutes beforehand. And you can see that this has shown up. Now, after the appointment, if I want to add a note, so I can write up notes here, but what most people do is they use the notes section. So for example, if I had a conversation with a prospect and I learned that want to learn how to get more prospects. Shared to audios via email, for example. You can save that, and the notes show up. So it's a good, recommend you use the back office as a way to store notes about your prospects so that next time you follow up with them, you can see the history. You can also delete any notes. There's an option to delete the prospect, but in reality you rarely want to do that because the prospect does have a way to opt out, and so they cannot get emails and updates. When would you want to delete a prospect? Well, if they ask you, would you please delete me from your database, or if there's a mistake in a double entry, you may want to do that. You can also click this to email the prospect, and of course just close this window. So the next tab is Add a Prospect. Now this isn't something that you would use normally, but there's a few instances where you'd want to add a prospect. So we just recently switched from the old to the new, the ZR 1.1 Mentoring for Free Pro system, and so there may be some contacts that haven't ported over correctly, so you may want to use this to add prospects. Another reason you might want to use this is if you've accidentally deleted a contact from the system and you want to put their information back in. Another reason is, let's say you emailed a person a copy of the ebook and they didn't come through the system, and later you wanted to put them in, or they asked to be put in to get the information, or perhaps you sent them a hard copy, and this is a way you can get them in the system so that they can receive emails. But the important thing is, if you add somebody in the system and they start receiving emails from you, it should not be a surprise. Otherwise it's spam. So make sure that you have permission. They know that you're putting them in the system, and they'll get emails from you from Mentoring for Free. Okay, the next option is to export prospects, and your prospect list is gold. It is your gold. So you want to make sure you back up your prospects on a regular basis. How frequent you do that has to, depends on how many prospects you have, how many you get in a certain day. If you get a whole bunch in one day, you may want to back that up, even though you backed it up just the day before. Very simple process. You can see you can check or uncheck all of the different items. By default they're checked, and you can select comma separated or tab separated. Default is comma separated values, and just hit submit, and you can see that it will save a file, and you can save that on your desktop for later reference. The next option is Tell a Friend. This is a very powerful feature if you have friends, family, warm market that may be interested in success in 10 steps. For example, we always have friends that are in network marketing or direct sales companies, and we say, hey, you know what, there's a book that's really helped us. We'd love to share a copy with you. And obviously if they're local, or if we have the opportunity, we'll send them a hard copy. But this way we can send them an email that shows up in their inbox. And you can send a little personal message about why you're sending the message per our conversation. You also need to select which target page. So you can tell them about Mentoring for Free, or the Colors to Success, or of course any of the landing pages for Success in 10 Steps. Now notice you can do up to 10 by adding their name and their email. Now again, no spamming, which means they need to be expecting this email when they get it. This is probably an underutilized feature of the back office, but it is an absolutely great way to build contacts and prospects of the system and get the word out of the great things that we do at Mentoring for Free. The next option under the Prospects tab is Search Friends, and what you would do for this is, it's basically the exact same thing as searching prospects, but these are people who have joined using the Tell a Friend email. So that wraps up the options under the Prospect tabs. We will continue the next video and cover the options in the Stats tab.